All right, so today we're going to tackle something that, honestly, I think a lot of people kind of put off thinking about.
Yeah.
It's life insurance,
Uh-huh.
but we're adding another layer to it. We're talking about what happens when you've got, a pre-existing condition,
Right.
like depression or bipolar disorder.
Big topic.
It's a big one, and I think, for me at least, there's always been this, assumption that, oh, if you've got those things, it's going to be, impossible to get life insurance,
Yeah,
or it's going to be crazy expensive. Right.
absolutely. That's kind of the common conception out there.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
And to help us unpack all of this, we're turning to some really insightful information from diversified insurance brokers. They got a lot of great stuff to say about
Oh,
this.
thing.
And, what I really love about their approach is it's not just about the technical stuff.
Right.
It's about, empowering people
Yeah.
to feel confident and informed when they're dealing with this whole process. So by the end of this, I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better about this whole life insurance thing. And who knows, you might even be surprised to learn that even with these conditions, getting good rates is totally possible. More on that in a bit. But first, let's break down why mental health even matters when we're talking about life insurance.
Right. Well, you're not wrong. I mean, a lot of folks do kind of just assume it's a no-go from the start. But as I was diving into the information from diversified insurance brokers, what really stood out to me is that it's not an automatic disqualifier, you know?
Really? Okay, so it's not just like a black and white thing.
Not at all. It's way more nuanced than that. I mean, insurance company, they're looking at risk, right? And mental health is part of that picture, sure, but it's definitely not the whole story.
Okay, so if someone's listening to this right now and thinking, okay, but what about my specific situation? Like, what are some of the things that insurers actually look at when it comes to, say, depression or bipolar disorder?
So first off, they want to know about the severity of your condition, like how intense is it,
Right.
and how stable is it? Have you been managing it well? Are things kind of up and down, that kind of thing?
So, if someone's depression or bipolar disorder is, let's say, on the milder side, and they've been pretty stable, that's a good thing, right?
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. The source actually highlighted that in those kind of cases, especially if you're following a solid treatment plan, you might be looking at standard or even, get this, preferred rates.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah,
I did not realize that. That's huge.
huge.
Okay, but let's flip the script for a second.
Okay.
What about those situations that are, a bit tougher? Like, what if someone's had a really rough time with their mental health, maybe some recent hospitalizations, or they've had to switch meds a lot? What happens then?
All right. So, yeah, that's when things can get a little trickier. It's not a simple slam dunk anymore. But, and this is important, it's still not a lost cause. There are options out there like, simplified issue life insurance or even guaranteed issue policies.
Wait, hold on. Before we go any further, can we back up for a sec? For those who haven't heard of these, what exactly are simplified issue and guaranteed issue life insurance?
Sure, yeah, good point. It's worth breaking it down. So these are kind of like alternative paths to getting coverage. Basically, they're designed for people who might not sail through the traditional application process.
Got it. And what makes them different from, regular life insurance?
The big difference is you don't need a medical exam,
Oh, wow.
which can be a huge relief, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so with simplified issue, you said there are some health questions.
Right, you'll answer a few questions about your health history, but it's not the full-blown medical exam.
Okay, and what about guaranteed issue?
Guaranteed issue is like the ultimate safety net. You're automatically approved, no questions asked.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But I'm guessing there's a catch.
Well, yeah, there are some trade-offs.
Okay, like what?
So typically the premiums will be higher,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes, especially at the start of the policy, the death benefit might be a little bit lower.
Okay, I see. So it's kind of a way to get at least some coverage in place, even if you can't get the ideal policy
Exactly. And honestly, it's still so important to have that protection
for your.
for your loved ones, even if it costs a little more.
Absolutely. And that kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to touch on. The source, diversified insurance brokers, they talk about these three main types of life insurance: fully underwritten, simplified issue, and guaranteed issue. I think we need to do a quick rundown of those just so everyone's on the same page.
For sure, for sure. Think of fully underwritten as like the gold standard. It's the most comprehensive. You'll go through the whole 9 yards, medical exam, detailed health history review.
Right.
It's the toughest to get through, but it also offers the best chance at the lowest rates. Simplified issue, that's kind of the middle ground.
Right.
A little less intense, but still some checks. And then you've got guaranteed issue, which is all about accessibility.
Got it. So if I'm listening to all this and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, Right. What are some things that I can do right now to improve my chances of getting life insurance, especially if I'm dealing with, depression or bipolar disorder?
Well, honestly, the best advice comes straight from diversified insurance brokers themselves.
Okay, lay it on me.
Be proactive,
Mm-hmm.
take care of your mental health,
Okay.
consistent treatment, open communication with your doctor. That's huge.
Now, why is that so important from the insurance company's perspective?
Because the more stable your condition is, the better they can predict at the risk, right?
Gotcha.
They want to see that you're managing things well. It also makes a huge difference to find a good insurance broker.
Someone who really knows their stuff when it comes to this?
Someone who understands how mental health factors into the whole process. They can walk you through it, help you pick the right policy, and even fight for you during the application.
I like that. Someone on your side.
Totally. And speaking of which, diversified insurance brokers, they specialize in helping people with pre-existing conditions.
Really?
Yeah, they get it.
And I think you mentioned they offer a free consultation, too?
They do. So there's no harm in reaching out.
Totally. No risk, all reward.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think the main thing we want to drive home here is that even with conditions like depression or bipolar disorder, life insurance isn't out of reach.
For sure.
It's about understanding all the factors involved and, being smart about what options are out there.
I love that summary. It's important to remember that life insurance, it's not just about money.
Right.
It's about peace of mind. It's knowing that your loved ones are protected no matter what happens.
I love that. That's a really powerful way to think about it. It's almost like a form of self-care in itself, like you're taking care of yourself and your family.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground today. If you're feeling ready to take that next step, reach out to Diversified Insurance Brokers. They can help you get the coverage you need and deserve. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely. It's been great being here.
See ya. See ya.
See ya, SOG.